Okay, here we have another Punch-Out. This is from my buddy Jay Leone, and this is actually a super Punch-Out, and he was complaining of some upper monitor issues. And as you can see here at the upper monitor, we definitely have some issues. Things kind of looking kind of blocky here. And actually, let me just reset the game because I want to confirm something here. Okay, so this is the upper monitor, and this actually is lower monitor data getting pumped to the upper monitor. Because this same logo kind of appears on both the top and bottom monitor when the thing loads up. And so based on that and some other stuff that I'm seeing, I'm guessing that it's right in this little area here. This is kind of lower monitor information, and we kind of steal some of that stuff on occasion to send it to the upper monitor with this mux here. So this drives the upper monitor, this drives the lower monitor. This is the data feeding through the lower, and the data up here for feeding the upper. And we can steal some of that sometimes when we want like that splash screen to go to the upper monitor. So the fact that this splash screen is messed up, which means that, this data and the upper monitor data is messed up. I think it's either in this mux or perhaps in the color proms. I'm really thinking it's not in the color proms. I'm thinking it's right here in these muxes. So what I'm going to do is start probing these guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe one of them or a couple of them are just tied high and low. So rather than selecting different colors within a certain bank, it's just being pegged at one color, which is why the entire splash logo Punch-Out is like all red or all white. And so that's kind of where I'm going to start poking around, these guys right here, and then that'll tell us, whether we need to go this direction, or some other place. So let's start there, and we'll see what we find. Well, sure enough, I started poking around this mux right here. All the outputs are pegged, every single one of them, and so that would definitely screw up because that's the address that feeds into our color proms here, and we can kind of see that. This is the mux right here, and the outputs are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see he is pegged high. 5, 6, 7, 9, I believe, and let's see, 10, 11, 12. So this guy here is not really doing anything. So let me swap this guy out and see what happens. Alrighty, we got our new mux in there. Let's fire this up and see what we get. That's the bottom screen, and that's the top screen. So it looks like that's what the problem was. Let this play through a little bit, make sure we got some good colors here, but I don't suspect there'll be any problems. So yeah, that was kind of a quick one there. So I think what I may do is throw another one on the bench here since I'm doing this video, and go through another repair. This one was kind of quick, so fill up the time with another repair. So yeah, this is the top monitor, is looking gorgeous, and the lower monitor is looking fine too. So I think this one is all set to go for my buddy Jay. And so let's move on to the next one. So here's the other one we're going to look at today. This one is actually a repeat board set. This one is from Brian Westfall, which I had repaired back in December, and developed some new problems. So currently, what happens is it awaits to start a game, and then let me start this game here. My hand's kind of twitchy. There we go. And we'll let that count down. And what Brian's saying is happening is that it goes to start the game. You can hear it announce that it's getting ready for Glass Joe, but it never gets past that point. So let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. And so it's kind of stuck in this mode here. Now, the way that this works is the Z80 here is running a show, but it's sending commands to the speech processor, which is here, and then there's the sound chip or the music chip up there. And so what I suspect is happening is some inter-processor communication problem between these two guys here. It's initiating commands to this guy, and it's starting to do some sound stuff, but then kind of gets lost. So it could actually be something in here. This is the program ROM, and I'm sure there's data on there too for the speech processor chip. And so maybe this guy is bad or something like that. It's got some sketchy data on there. Or like I said, it could be some processor communication problem. So I think what I'll do first is just throw this guy in the EEPROM reader, make sure that it's okay, and then maybe just take a look real quickly at some of the handshaking, or not handshaking, but some of the data path between these two guys. And if that looks good, then I'll have to start poking into the control signals between these two. So let's just start with this guy. I'll throw him in the EEPROM reader and make sure he's good, and we'll go from there. Right, so I did throw this guy in the EEPROM reader, and that guy looks okay. And so I took a look at the schematic a little bit in detail to see how do these two guys talk to each other. This is the speech processor down here. Actually, let me stand up so you can see it better. Maybe even turn on this light. Let's see if that helps. There we go. Alright, so here's the speech processor down here. Here's the Z80 up here. So he sends cues to this guy, and this guy lets the Z80 know whether he's busy or not through this busy signal here. And this comes all the way down, shoots across, and goes through this, I think it's a tristatable buffer. And the same buffer is used for sampling, like the coin. I'm sorry, all the inputs, the coin inputs, the player inputs and buttons, the dip switch options, and some other stuff over here. And so these two guys are located on the board right over here. And as you can see, maybe if I can hold it this way, you can see there's a bit of acid damage, and some of these legs are a little corroded. Not too bad. But I've seen that plenty of times in the past. If the buffers are going to go, it's always these guys first, and I've even seen dip switches get really messed up. The contacts inside, because of the acid, it just flows in that direction. And if it gets really bad, then it can destroy some of these passive components, and even these guys here. So I am seeing some sketchiness from this guy here, and so I think what I may do is just go ahead and swap him out, and then see if that if that takes care of the issue there. I suspect it will, because like I said, this is checking out okay, which is good, and that's definitely a concern, being that it's all around this area that's kind of got some acid damage. So let me start with that, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, I took the liberty of actually replacing both of those guys, just in case. I mean, the acid kind of corrosion is in that area, and it's flowing down that way. And so I hate to send this all the way back to Brian and then have him come back with another issue related to, let's say, the dip switch or something. So, I'm here, the board's here. What's the cost of another socket and little TTL part there? So go ahead and swap that guy out. Let's hit start here and let it play through. Hold on, as I try to do both at the same time. It should be counting down. There we go. And so yeah, hopefully that will take care. I'm pretty confident that's all it was. It looked like that chip had seen better days.
Ladies and gentlemen, Class Joe.
Alrighty. So it looks like that's what it was, and yeah, I think this one is good to go. So yeah, if you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, all the repairs that I do, and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe. Just a heads up, I got a bunch of other boards in the queue, a couple of Play Choice boards, which I've never done before, so it should be interesting to go through those and learn a little bit from those. I got a Donkey Kong Jr. in the mix, I got a Donkey Kong 3 coming up, and for those of you who have been following me over on Clav about my pole position clone work, I got some updates to do there as well. I've got to put all those together and send them out to you guys. So yeah, if you're interested in all that kind of stuff, then go ahead and subscribe, and that way you'll get pinged when I dump new videos onto YouTube here. So I think that is all for this one, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.